So,
Surprise!
hello. Hi.
It's time to go on the show,
Oh, hi, everyone.
or we'll be here all night.
It's a show, right? So,
Yes, I started recording, so we're having fun. We're doing what's called the Tibetan rites. There are actually 6 exercises, not 5. Most people know about 5, and you can just do Tibetan rite exercises. Look it up on Google, and there's 3 or 4 people who show you different ways to do it. When the woman does her toes upright on one of them, instead of your foot flat, that's the better way to do it. So you'll see that when you do that on Google, you'll see 3 videos from 3 people near the top. Watch all of them for different reasons. But I really like the second one by the woman. Or is that a guy? No, the third one was by a woman, because she's out on the grass and she puts her toes up, and that's better. But there's also a 6th one, which has to do with breathing, or what they call in yoga pranayama. But the Tibetan rites were not designed on Earth, and they are not part of yoga. They predated by 50,000 years. They were done by certain people to spin the chakras up along the spine, high speed, the same direction, clockwise, draw energy to the body. The 6th one is for the fountain of youth. It's more for age reversal. And it's not a cure-all. It won't make your body immortalized, but it will certainly put 20 or 30 years of youth back on your life. You'll notice when you do them 21 times each at some point, when you work up to it, when you spin clockwise, you spin fast. And you use this technique that I know of, that no one knows of. As soon as you're done spinning, you put your hands together and look right down in the V inside your fingers. And you hold your vision there, because if you do that, when you stop spinning 21 times, the dizziness will vanish like a miracle, just gone. It's something I found out by traveling out of my body and visiting with people. So you'll find that it works very well. That's the first Tibetan rite. And it will get people over the problem of being dizzy if they'll do it. They'll be amazed that there's no, just dizziness just goes. It's gone instantly. That means you get the vantage of the whirl without the dizziness. A lot of people stop doing the Tibetan rites because they can't spin around 21 times without falling over. So you got to have a technique that will neutralize the dizziness aspect of it instantly. That will do that. And then you do all 5 rites, and there's a 6th one, which I've shown to you, standing upright. Since Zoom doesn't allow me to show a full body torso image, it's hard for me to demonstrate it. But when you're standing up, you have your hands on the front of your hips, slightly bend your knees, and you breathe very deeply shallow. Like 21 times 4. And then you just breathe deep breaths, 2 or 3 times. And then you dip more, open your mouth more. And do the same thing. And do 4 sets of 21, and then stop and take 3 deep breaths, and then do it through your mouth and nose, as deep as you can. And then you stop, take 3 deep breaths, and on the 4th breath, you breathe in as much as you can, and then blow all your out and push down on your hips, on the front of your hip thighs. Scrunch your shoulders up with no air, and count as long as you can with no air, with your buttocks stiff and pressing upward. And then if you count to 10 or 15 or 20, you run out of, you need air, you just breathe and relax and go about your day. That's the 6th Tibetan rite. It's very powerful. You will notice this will charge your body a great deal, but it's not yoga. It's not for yoga. It's not part of yoga. It was created and brought here to this world long before yoga ever came into existence in India. Yoga is people spinning off from these, making hundreds of other exercises that really aren't necessary. These are designed to spin the chakra, the energy centers along the spine, clockwise at high speed, draws in the energy to each meridian point. And you'll notice an increase in energy, and you'll notice when you stop doing them for a few days, your energy will drop. It's a practical free will thing. Okay, that can be helpful to people. Google Tibetan rites exercises, watch people do it, and write down the 6th one. which they don't talk about much, okay? I haven't found anybody even mention it. And they don't talk about how to get rid of the dizziness at the end of the spinning cycle. So if you can do that, you'll make progress quickly with those.
Okay, Scott, can you update us about your 2 books?
Excuse me?
Can you update us about your 2 books?
Yeah, I was sick for a couple of weeks, as you know. So, and my own fault too, not blame anyone else. Where's that book? Oh, there you are, little book. Look, here is, in fact, the prototype
Da, 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 da.
for the,
Yes.
the new series agenda. The mothership a mile long in the ice rings of Saturn. There's Saturn. And scout ships coming into the center section of the hall. There's no open door. They change their molecular time rate and go right through the hall, lower their vibration and land. The back of the cover is Mark Sandfield. You see the 3 assailants trying to kill him, and they're blowing out a section of the tree. The ship above is beaming him to safety just in time. He's in it by his tent, which is in the background in the High Sierra Mountains. That is the new series agenda. And as you can see, quite a difference in size. This is an original 5 grand this cover made this way. These are real scenes from the book. It was not easy to do. Hired the best guy. Now this is the prototype for the new series agenda. I'm having a friend in New York check all my 15 or 8 pages or 10 pages of typos to make sure I did them all correctly, separately from me. And then this is already uploaded to Amazon and it'll be published probably within this week. This is a proof copy. I'm still doing corrections. Little typos found by Michael in New York that 3 paid editors missed. And I'm correcting these in a file so I can get, in the next day or so, the proof copy of the Emerald Doorway, first book of the Parallel Time Trilogy, out like this. As you know, this is the current size for the current Emerald Doorway that's published. Same as the series agenda now. These are the same size. The new cover for this book is pretty spectacular. And I will share my screen and show you all what that looks like. You can get out of here. Oh, this is what the Atma looks like.
Yeah.
This is the way a being or Atma or soul looks. This is really what we look like that isn't physical. This is made in the image of the source itself. Spherical, like a sun or a planet or a moon, which is why moons and planets and sun are round, because they're patterned after the beings that make them, us. This has levels and depths to it. Each one of these little teardrops is a higher faculty of being on different dimensional levels. They're not going to tell you this in PhD school on planet Earth. They suppress all that. So we get out of here, go into here, and let's see if we can find that file. Well, let's get this one and a new cover.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get individual front and back cover one, and then that might be a little bit easier. That's the new back cover for the Emerald Doorway. That's
This guy is,
He's got one of the Ancient One crystals. He's holding the world in his hand. He's nasty looking. He's in space, and he wants to get control of this planet. The front cover is this. The Ancient One coming through from the Atma realm above the void to meet Ramu's introducing Melina and Etta and Kalem. There's his ship. They're on anti-gravity disks high above. The poles have just changed. Lemuria is destroyed and new continental land masses are there. And he's introducing them to the Ancient One. These are actual actors that portrayed these parts in costume. And if I want to raise it up some, you can see the Ramu's staff all lit up in gold. You can see Melina with her little webs between her fingers at this little opalescent tail glowing. He's levitating because he can defy gravity. He's a Dren, and there's Caleb. There's Ramu. That book should be out this next week too.
Scott, can you say briefly one more time what is about the Emerald Doorway? The story is about.
It's the first book of the Parallel Time Trilogy, and it has to do with what happened over 100,000 years ago when the poles last flipped on this planet, involving extraterrestrials, spiritual adepts. This guy is from another planet. He's not from Earth. This little Etta guy is lovable, courageous to a fault. About 3 feet tall. He's got a green, smooth skin, great big blue bulbous eyes, loves his own family and children more than humans on Earth even understand. And his tail glows like bright opal in sunlight. Silica-based creature. He's not decarbon-based, and he's able to defy gravity and fly through the air. He's an actual organic being. He has a photographic memory, vocal cords like a human, but he's also telepathic. So he could talk to you mind to mind. He's quite advanced, this little guy. Cute as a button, courageous to a fault, lovable, quite cute. And then the Ancient One here is the true form of the Source, but we, each one of us, looks just like this on a smaller scale, identical. We're supposed to be co-creators with that Source, not co-worshippers of it. That was never put out by the Source itself. It was put out by tyrant kings controlling priestcraft, not just on Earth, but in other worlds as well, to keep people basically stupid. Okay. So that's the latest update. We are publishing in April. It's nearly ready, almost done. And I'll be back in just one moment.
Okay. Hello, Starlight. Starlight.
Okay. Let's get rid of 2 phones. My little buddy Starlight's right here with me.
Yeah, so cute.
Yeah, he hangs with me all the time, this guy. He leaves his body as easily as putting butter on bread, this guy. And I find him appearing in very high dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little Atma running a kitty body, but he's quite adept. He's quite good. He's hanging with us to go on a journey. He's going to be there with us, little buddy. Okay.
Scott, hold on, please. I have a question for you. I wanted to ask if you could, if the music is a universal language, so many animals react positively to it.
So, what's the question?
If the music is a universal language.
Yes and no. What I mean by that is, if you're telepathically awake, human beings are telepathic, they just don't know it. Then sounds can communicate because they're wavelengths, and they can carry a lot of information on that wavelength, just like fiber optics carry light. All the phone calls, millions of phone calls down a little tube, no bigger than that. Then it can be used, sound can be used as a carrier wave for a great deal of information. I'll give you an example. A precise tone for Mars would take you to that planet. as an Atma out of your body. You could be there instantly. Because it has a wavelength and tells you exactly where it is in space in the solar system, where it is in the multidimensional universe, and then the omnipresent living hue underneath it all, which is not positive and negative, it's before that. You ride it, you go on it, and it has nothing to do with the speed of light or gravitational fields. There's no limits to getting around the multiverse as the Atma, because the Atma, which you remember I showed everyone, looks like this here. That is not made of matter. It is not atoms and protons and neutrons, and a hydrogen bomb could not destroy this. It isn't created in the lower worlds. It's not created in the void known to the Buddhists. It's created many dimensions above that. And it is made of the pure source energy itself. This Atma can have an energy field surrounded it through the misuse of science in the lower planes to make it forget who and what it is, until it thinks it's a body. And that's as low as you can bring an Atma down to where it thinks it's a body. That's your people, that's your population on Earth, basically. And nothing could be further from the truth. That's how dumbed down people have been made to be without their consent or knowledge on this planet. And it wasn't done to them here. It was done to them before they found themselves forced to incarnate here. It was not a free will, and it wasn't some agreement they made with God or a savior or anybody else. People have been made to forget their true history in the galactic universe, not just physical, but other dimensions. There's no such thing as an advanced planet of evolved beings worshiping the source, praying to it. They don't do that. They know better. They actually go to where the source is and communicate with it. They don't worship it, they respect it. And it puts out an energy that we should all respect each other. Not just life on a planet, not just animals and plants, all life in the entire grand multidimensional creation. The only way you can do that is if you're aware of it, or you can't do it. So this work, and with those that I work with from other worlds, is only about helping people recover what they've been made to forget. Not as bodies, not as brains, as Atmas, soul, the true being that runs a body. This body you're looking at here cannot run itself on automatic. It would sit there dumber than a wall if I wasn't running it right now. It would not, the brain can't think on its own. It doesn't have a personality. The brain in the skull is not designed to have any of that. That's not what it's for. You can't imagine anything with the brain. That's not what it's for. When anybody imagines anything, they're seeing it with the Atma, which is this spherical form running this body, looking out in the universe and seeing it somewhere. Distortions in dreams, when people come back with jumbled dreams, is because when they went to bed at night, they took fear of the future with them. They took their fear and doubt and terror with them to bed at night. That's why I always encourage people to drop all that and put it aside before you go into any advanced exercise that puts the body in the trance state we call sleep, so you can leave it consciously and go recover yourself. Mostly that has to be done off planet. If you want to recover yourself, most of yourself was lived in lifetimes not on this world. If you live 10,000 lifetimes on this planet, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what you've lived in other worlds and other realities already. People on Earth have no idea how old they are. They think in terms of 80 years and growing old and dying as an age. This is a joke. That only has to do with bodies. They're devices. They're genetic, scientific experiments that run at 98.7 degrees Fahrenheit. The Atma gets in and runs it. A properly balanced human being you can bring higher memory and higher faculties through it and know what you are as an enlightened way while you're on Earth or running a body or anywhere. But people on Earth, the genetics have been tampered with on people on this planet long ago. And many of the genomes on the DNA that allow for higher telepathy and higher faculty and higher awareness have been shut off. They're switches turned off by tyrants. So when the being gets in it on Earth, they suddenly find out they can't do what they used to do. Don't remember. That's all reversible, especially now. That's why I do this work. It's the only reason I do this work. I'm not motivated by any of the baubles of this planet, fame, fortune, money, any of it. That's not why I'm here. It's not why I came to this planet. I don't care about any of that. So I want to make that clear to people. I don't care if they believe me or not. Because what matters is their own experience ultimately in recovering their own direct knowing perception. Direct knowing perception has got nothing to do with doubt, fear, theory, speculation, uncertainty, terror, revenge, hate. All those negative emotions have nothing to do with the real being, the real Atma. They never did. They're artificially created negative emotions by tyrants imposed on beings to control them. Period. End of story. That's it. That's the truth. Until people can confront the truth, they're never going to remember who they are. They're not going to remember another life. They're not going to remember why they're here. They're going to walk around on Earth going, oh, it's God's will. I don't know nothing. I don't know where I am. I don't know if how did I get here? Oh, I don't know. I'll just pay taxes, live and die. That's most people today. And every one of them knows there's something wrong here. Something was done to them somewhere in their history that shut all their higher awareness down and stuck them in a body on Earth. The faster people become aware of this as a fact, the better off they're going to be. There is no shortcut for recovering the truth. You can't pat it and fluff it up and make it be what you want it to be. Truth is universal throughout the grand multidimensional creation. What's true for all is true, or it's not true at all. There's no gray area whatsoever. Direct knowing is knowing with certainty, without doubt or fear or speculation or theory. Anything else is an illusion, a maya, a trap for the Atma, for soul. Make it think it's a physical body stuck in a lifetime on a planet. It's absurd. Quite absurd. So, we go on these journeys in order to help people recover their ability to see and know things out of the body, beyond the confines of planet Earth, beyond the limitations of the silliness they're taught in schools and universities. Because schools and universities do not teach truth. They teach theory, speculation, scientific analysis, all of which does not say even that life exists on other planets. How absurdly arrogant and vain is that? For people, little people on Earth, to look out in the air and say, oh, we're the only ones in all those trillions of billions of planets. Ooh. They've been made to think that way growing up on this planet. And it's all wrong, completely. Way wrong, totally and completely wrong, absolutely, 100%. In every way. There's more human beings in other worlds out there than you can count. And people on Earth are kept in the dark about it for now. What's underway out in the universe and coming to this planet cannot be reversed by any power on this planet. Tyrants, royal families, classified people. What's underway now is good for all life, and it cannot be changed, affected, controlled, or altered by any power on this planet. And it's coming this way. People in highly classified arenas know this, and they're scared. They're afraid to tell the people the truth, and they know that they have to. They're not going to be harmed. No one's threatened them. No one's come down and forced them out of office. But there will come a time when they will be removed from this planet and straightened out. Not hard, hurt, but shaken free of the subconscious controls that makes them be tyrants, elitists, arrogant. Why, we get to know classified stuff, but the rest of you peons do not. That's nonsense. That's just hoarding power and money for themselves. It's ridiculous. And it's coming to a permanent, forever end. The original founders of the classified system on this planet, 35 countries, including the United States, part of the bylaws of the Majestic 12 and such people under Truman were to disclose the truth to all the people when they felt it was safe to do so. It's been 65 to 70 years and they still haven't done it. Because what they've done in that classified system breaks every constitution and law on this planet. And they're afraid of getting lynched and murdered by masses of people when they tell them the truth about what's really been going on. The fact of the matter is that they are not going to be harmed. They're going to be changed, set free from the subconscious terror they live under in order to have to control masses of people. And that was all imposed upon them by extraterrestrial tyrants without their will or consent also. The sooner people find this out, the better off they're going to be. Because they'll drop revenge and terror and hate, all that goes away, and all the higher faculties start turning on then. Isn't that strange? You cannot mix negative emotions with higher faculties. They do not mix whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. You cannot take negative emotions into the higher worlds and recover who you are. They won't go across the void known to most Buddhist monks. Nothing of a negative nature can cross that void. And believe me when I tell you, there are many, many higher realities above that void. I go to them every single day. Sometimes I'm operating a number of bodies on different planes simultaneously and knowing it coming back and forth here. That's how normal human beings on other planets without subconscious minds operate. They don't grow up on worlds like Earth. They don't have taxation. They don't have to pay for the right to be born on a planet. And their children remember who they are when they were big. They can get in and out of their bodies and fly spaceships, anti-gravity across the stars, and that's normal for them. Earth is not a normal planet by any means. Not yet. But it is now designated to become one for the first time in billions of years. So what's underway now, if it hadn't begun, we would all be dead on this planet from nuclear war already. And that has been stopped from off planet many times. And this means they're not allowed to use them. The rest is just used to threaten people to keep them in line. Ooh, nuclear bombs. Got to protect you from the bad nuclear people. They're really not allowed to use them. They've tried, and it doesn't work. Backfires. Launch computers get shut down from space. And they have no control over this. It's not something they want to tell the public, but it's something they actually should be telling the public right now. It's for their own good, because they've not seen any evidence that the good ETs are here to harm them. But they're also not going to stand by and let this world continue to run in a negative, misdirected way, manipulated illegally by tyrant ETs before they were stopped. Those tyrant ETs were stopped and sent off this planet. All of them. No more abductions by little grays. No reptilian commanders. What you've got left is a bunch of subconsciously misdirected, programmed people running the planet in a destructive direction on automatic. That's not going to be tolerated by the benevolent races out there, because people on Earth do not have free will. The whole principle of non-interference is that a planet has people with free will on who can choose correctly. People on Earth can't. They're not capable of it. I'm talking about the leaders classified in other ways. They make terrible decisions all the time, charge trillions of dollars to try to keep it under wraps, and the planet's getting worse because of their direction. They don't know what they're doing. And they're making decisions based on subconscious negative programs. And that has to stop. So what is underway is designed to neutralize such things in a benevolent, kind way, even for them. They know they're not being shot and put up against walls and hunted down. They know better. So let's go on a little journey. This is for the benefit of queens and kings, and I don't care who they are. I don't care how high classified they are, what space program they're in, or anything else. Doesn't mean a hoot to me. They're playing with very, very archaic sciences. Baby steps. The bare beginnings of anti-gravity craft. And stuff they don't even know how to pilot outside the solar system because they can't. They're not allowed to. People from Earth are dangerous. crazy, nearly insane people, full of fear and subconscious drives. It's not going to be tolerated to allow people from Earth to go play amongst the stars with radioactive materials and nuclear bombs. It will never be tolerated. Ever. Never. You're never going to have a classified space program going and playing among the stars the way this world is run today. We're quarantined in this solar system with good reason. So this has to change. I don't mind mixing, I don't mix my statements. I don't color them or fluff them up with niceties. I tell people exactly what it is. They want the truth, they better damn well be prepared to face it. It's not going to fit into Christianity. It's not going to fit into Buddhism or Hinduism. None of real truth fits into any of those. And those religions do not exist outside of this planet, anywhere. They were made up by tyrant kings to control the priest who controlled the people. And that's a fact. People say they love God, but they don't even know what it is they're loving. They're worshiping something they were taught, some obscure, abstract thing way up there. That all changes when a person actually goes and visits the source themselves. And they find out to their great shock, it does not require that they worship it or put it on a pedestal. It only requires that we respect it and each other. That's it. That is real divine love. Anything short of that is a vanity. So, now that that's out of the way, when we go on these trips, I operate in a telepathic way with fellow beings on Earth. This is not the words being spoken. It is the communication behind the words that reaches the being, the real being. I'm not talking to bodies. I'm not talking to people's problems or their fears. I'm not talking to their brain or their gender. I'm talking to the spherical form that's running their body, period. And that means I'm recognizing them for who they really are. There is a respect there, even if I know they're dumber than a brick when it comes to remembering anything just yet. But I also know they're all capable of recovery. All of this, every single being on this planet has the capability under the right conditions to recover it. Okay. I ask people to get comfortable in a chair or lying on their back, on a sofa or a couch, or comfortable with their spine straight. And I ask them to take several deep breaths. And when they exhale, they're blowing out into their room, in the cupboards, on the ground, on the carpet, all their fears. Fears of their health, fears of the future, fear of dying, fear that they're a body, fear of this, fear of that, fear of the destruction of the planet from nuclear war or global warming. We put all that aside for now through an act of true free will, just by imagining it being set aside for now. People are very good at this. They are experts at leaving their body, all 7.5 billion people on this planet. Even those that are terrorists or perverted and so twisted they just want to blow something up, anybody, to have an effect because they feel like they're completely dominated and controlled. Anyone and everyone is good at putting their body to sleep at night. They just go, I'm going to sleep, and there's nobody home all night, and they wake up in the morning refreshed and they go, oh gee. They don't realize that they left their body. The body's put on automatic in a trance state. When a person starts to go to sleep, they know on an unconscious level to make the pineal gland, the center of the brain, secrete serotonin, makes melatonin, and that puts the body and the heart and respiratory and blood on automatic while you're gone. The being has a connection, a kind of energy beam to the pineal gland, the center of the brain, to run it while you're away. It cannot be broken by a nuclear bomb. It cannot be broken by laser beams. It is not a silver cord between the astral and the physical. It's not a golden cord. It's beyond that. Now, everybody does it. but they're brought up on a planet that doesn't teach them anything about using higher faculties or what they're doing with their imagination or how to get around the universe. You get none of that training on planet Earth. It's all suppressed. If the priests don't do it, the religions don't do it, the governments will. And that's coming to an end. So like it or not, Earth is destined to change in a dynamic, new, unexpected way. And we, you and I, and your radio listeners are all part of that unexpected change. Certain tribes, simple people on Earth, know that this change is the end of evil as an experiment. The Mayans know it. They tried to tell people 100 years ago, and Christian archaeologists came in there and tried to pervert what they were telling them and fit it into the Bible. And Armageddon, it does not fit. It never will. Has nothing to do with each other. The end of the Mayan calendar started a new calendar. And the Mayan shamans that know how to read their own calendar never, ever said it was about destruction or Armageddon of this earth. They're simple people. They know that it means the end of the old cycles for this planet. And this planet is going to step up and take its place in the universe for the first time. One of the things that had to be done was stopping the polar flips of this planet, which were cyclic. We would have already had one, and nobody would be alive on this planet right now. That was permanently ended. No more golden age to iron age and back again. That is over. You cannot find this information out in the astral plane. You have to go above the void into the higher worlds, where we came from, every one of us originally, and know things from there. If you want to see changes being designed for the lower dimensions of time and space, we do it from the higher worlds, and that's where we're going tonight. For a while, people who listen and try this stuff are going to know, you know, that sure sounds like I used to know this stuff. Way back in their consciousness somewhere, suppressed. And they're going to have their doubts and their fears. They don't know if they're making it up or it's fantasy. But let me point this out to them. Everything you imagine and do on this planet during a lifetime of 80 or 90 years, if you're lucky, is fantasy. Because you've imagined and created what you think is the limits of the death of a body, and that's who you are. That's the illusion. And they're saying that what we do is an illusion or made up in their brain. First of all, they need to understand that there is no capability within the human brain to see or imagine anything whatsoever. When people imagine daydreaming, they're in a classroom and they're looking out the window, not paying attention to the teacher, and they're thinking about being on the beach and they can see themselves running in the water. Who or what is seeing that? Not this. There's nothing in the gray matter of the brain that has a motion picture camera and a projector you can see stuff on. It's not in here. That's not what the brain and the skull is for. The being who's imagining that stuff is the being, spherical, seeing it out in the universe somewhere, clearly or distorted. That is the creative imagination. It is not made up in the brain, and it's not an illusion, and it's not fantasy. The crap people are imagining on this earth, that's the fantasy, the illusion, the trap. Because it's filled with two streams of simultaneous imagining, negative and positive. And they neutralize each other and ground a person to this earth. There's only one way to use the creative imagination of the being properly, and that is to deliberately imagine only that which will be of uplifting benefit to all life. Not just life on earth, all life in the entire creation of the source, prime creator. You want to play in the multidimensional universe as a being, you have to respect all of that. You cannot do it if all you know is your backyard on earth. That's quite impossible. So I want to be very firm about that, very clear, very succinct. I'm telling people the truth right now in exact detail. Some people can handle it, some people are terrified of it because it means they have to go in and see what was done to them before they found themselves on this earth with no memory, and it wasn't pretty. And it's not easy to look at. but it's necessary to see it so it becomes nothing more than a memory, and all the higher faculties suppressed below it resurface. I begin these exercises, these journeys, with a series of the first sound behind all creation, the primordial hue. The hue was not created on this planet. It was not created by any organization on this earth. It is trillions of years old and existed before the lower worlds of time and space were ever made. An Atma, the round spherical being, has the ability to tune into that current by using the hue and connecting to it and writing it and moving around the universe wherever they wish to go. Okay. If you're relaxed wherever you are, sitting down or laying down, take several deep breaths. Put your fears of everything aside for a short time. They'll be there when you come back to pick them up. It's the same thing you do when you put your body to sleep at night, except the difference is we're putting the body in the trance state just like you do every night, but we're going out consciously, listening to my voice, and we're going to go explore some real truth you can't get in any schoolroom on this planet. Okay. Imagine someone you love and respect, and you are grateful that whatever that is in your life. It could be a spiritual master of some kind, as long as it makes you smile, opens your heart. A child, a waterfall, a butterfly, a beach. Imagining being on other worlds with beautiful, wonderful human beings that are not trapped like people are on this earth, unconscious, unaware. Anything that makes you smile. And then you listen to the sound of the hue in yourself. And send your own hue out silently or out loud as I do this. But I'm going to be doing something that brings an energy field through me to this planet that neutralizes what's called the primary implant. The primary implant is an artificially created program of energy put around the sphere that you are through the misuse of off-world science to make you see distorted things when you look out into the universe and not remember who you are. It shuts that off temporarily, so till you can get control of it, mastery of it. So I will begin these hue vibrations now, and they will go up in tone, and then your bodies go into the trance state called sleep, and then I will guide us on a journey. Not just me, but my good friend, Ambassador Turalian of the Seres race. The Seres are human. They immortalized their physical bodies over 1 billion years ago, out in other galaxies. They are responsible for bringing into creation higher genetic forms, bipedal, walking on 2 legs, 2 arms, human, humanoid, and other races that have become spacefaring races in the physical universe. They seeded and populated these higher genetic forms that other Atmas could get in and run, and it was never meant to be a trap for the Atma as it's become. The Atmas were meant to be able to get in and run bodies and experiment in the lower dimensions and create better ways of doing things. That experiment's a failed experiment because beings got trapped in bodies and were made to forget things by tyrants through time and space on other worlds. You will all each individually find this out anyway one day. And I won't have to convince any of you of it. You'll know it for yourselves with certainty. I will begin these tones now.
It's easy, effortless. All of you leave your body at night, every night anyway, except you do it unconsciously, without awareness. This is different. The body is in the trance state, same way you do it every night, except you're listening to my voice and you're conscious. All you have to do is go with what I share with you and see in the imagination, and you will be seeing what I'm sharing with you for yourself. Don't worry about your physical body. It's safe. It's on automatic. It's set up this way. The pineal gland in the center of the brain has secreted melatonin, serotonin. These are substances that keep the body running while you're gone. Simple as that. All of you do it every night, so you might as well wake up and start practicing something you were never taught to practice at birth on this planet. Because that's the only way you're going to recover use of your higher faculties, is to exercise them. Using what you choose to see in the imagination has everything to do with spiritual, personal freedom and knowing certainty. First principle is stop imagining anything of a negative nature in your future or that of the planet. This takes courage. You have to do it despite whether family supports you, religions, or governments, because they will not support you in this effort. They're terrified of knowing the truth. You cannot be if you really want to recover who you are. Be above your body about, 4 feet near the ceiling. Wherever you are, even if you're outside, just be 4 feet above your body, looking down on lying there in the trance state we call sleep. Just see it there. It's easy to do. You people daydream all the time. You can imagine a beautiful hummingbird hovering in front of your face, or a waterfall, or a mountain, or an ocean, or a seashore, or a black sandy beach, or a golden or an emerald green beach. Easy. Imagine being above your house where you live, or your car, or on the grass, wherever you might be. Up in the atmosphere, about 5,000 feet, looking down on your town, you can see your body lying inside the house or apartment, or car, sitting there in the trance state called sleep, and you can see it easily. You just visualize it. When you look up, look around you, you're going to notice there is a man and a woman, spherical energies like I showed in the beginning of this radio show, hovering there beside you. Kind of assigned to each one of you to help you and protect you from any form of negativity during this journey. They are not from planet Earth. They have left their bodies aboard ships that are in our solar system and in our atmosphere these days, shifted out of phase. It's a technical term, means that their molecular time rate that makes up the molecular structure of their craft is vibrating at a higher level than radar or visual eyes can detect, but they are there. 3 other couples will run the ships, while 2 go and sit down in the back and leave their bodies to join us on this journey.
This is how they operate. This is not a joke. I'm not fooling around with people here. This is what they do. This is how we are from other worlds. Okay. This couple is vibrating and sending out an energy that's very uplifting to you personally. It's like breathing air right through your whole being and out the other side for the first time in your life. Because you can see and feel things without the limitations of the physical body, which is in the sleep state back there, resting comfortably. You can hear the sound of the hue in the energy field around you if you listen, but not with your physical ears, with the ability of the round atma to perceive sound and light. You can hear it humming. It connects all things together. Planet Earth to the moon. The void of space, which, by the way, has a field of white light with a gold tinge running through all of it. Scientists on Earth know that that black void is not really empty. There's energy in it they don't understand, connecting everything. That energy is the hue, the first primordial sound behind all creation, which runs through all of the multidimensional universes, supporting everything in place. As beings, we ride on that current into other worlds, to other planets, to other dimensions, to higher realities across the void, into the higher worlds. This is what we are capable of doing. It's not in the future. You need to evolve to be able to do this like some master-student relationship. This is something you need to remember you once knew how to do well long ago. It was taken from you. And you did not have a choice in the matter. Now, you do. Be above the planet. Just like the space shuttle or the Hubble telescope. Hovering above this beautiful blue-green jewel of a world. Polar ice caps, beautiful oceans and land. And there's our moon over here, circling it, doesn't ever turn on its axis. It's void of atmosphere, and it's going around our planet. And off in the distance, you can see the sun. In this form, you do not need to breathe oxygen, and you can float in space, far more capable than the space shuttle ever was, and more instantly. You're going to find that that couple is beside you while you're hovering in space above planet Earth. You can see your body way down there. You know it's there. It's fine. It's asleep. You're out of it. You're running it. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to be harmed. It's protected. When you work with the hue, there's a field of energy surrounding your body form that protects it from any form of negativity, any weapon, anything of anything. This is something people have to find out through their own direct exploration and experience to know the truth of it. Or they're going to stay in the dark, in doubt and fear the rest of their lives. You're hovering in space. You can see my friend Terrellian hovering in the center of a group of many beings hovering around him, like stars around the center of a galaxy. This being looks just like us. He's a bit older and a bit bigger than we are, and a little bit brighter, but the same. Terrellian acts as a focal point to keep us focused around a center of activity, so we don't get distracted off into any little thing that happens out in the universe and forget why we're here. We're here to make progress in recovering who we are. Anybody listening to this show, anybody doing this, I can absolutely guarantee are making progress with recovering who they are. If they have the courage to be here, that's what they're doing on an inner level. So believe in yourself. Have trust in yourself. Stand in your own gravity. You do not really need to rely on a savior, a spiritual guru, or anybody else other than yourself. Between the very source behind all life and yourself, there should be a direct telepathic link. Intermediaries don't belong there unless they're beings who can help you along the way. And they won't involve themselves with you unless you do it of creative free will with them. And they have to be asked. Terrellian is there. You're going to see a beings I call Shantial and Tonatial, husband and wife team, and Dantium and Lamtium from the Galactic Alliance. The Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds is a huge organization out in no more than nearly half of this galaxy. And it's comprised of more than 450 million spacefaring worlds, very highly evolved, much more evolved than Earth, many of them human. And they are involved for the first time to be motivated to transform a world as backward and upside down as Earth is. And it is. There's great change coming to this planet. In the past, it was done through destruction. They're wiping out people out, turning the poles upside down, sinking the lands and raising new ones from the seafloor. That's been going on for a very long time. That's been stopped so that Earth has the opportunity to join its place among the stars. When the people of this world are operating in a kind way and not lying to everybody as governments, all the technology for space travel, all the technology for ending disease, immortalizing bodies and doing all of that, including getting people free to leave their bodies, will come to this planet free of charge. Remember what I just said. No monetary systems involved in what they do. They don't use them, period. We have to on Earth because everybody's brainwashed to it. You won't get a loaf of bread without some bark from a tree called money with ink on it. It's worthless. There's no gold or money, metals behind any of it. It's an illusion. We have to work with it for now until everybody agrees to get rid of it. I want to bring this point out while you're out in space hovering above the planet in your imagination, because you're free of the limitations of this planet and its governments right now. And you can see and know things that you're not allowed to on Earth. This couple that's hovering beside each one of you are kind. They have physical bodies in the physical universe, but they grew up on worlds where they know how to leave them instantly. And they can travel in anti-gravity craft across the stars. Both. See, that's normal. Anti-gravity equipment and technology is very ancient. It's not new. It's very old compared to life on this planet. Long ago, these races got rid of microbial, microscopic life. It was the beginnings of experiment with DNA that would compete with your body today, called disease. They eliminated all that because it's no longer necessary. They don't get sick. They don't get cancer. They don't have drugs their culture makes money off of and disseminates to them with all kinds of terrible side effects. That's quite illegal off this planet Earth. Money is illegal. It's only used by tyrants to brainwash and control people, period. Yes, I use money. No, I don't think it's negative or positive. It's just energy. It's really bark from a tree with ink on it or digits in a computer. It has no more reality than that, other than what people have been brainwashed to believe it does. Okay, I want to get that out of the way. This isn't about giving up your home or running to the hills and throwing away money. That's impractical and quite immature. No, it's about getting detached from the illusion of its power, being able to control it and not have it control you, or the beings that print it control you. You want to be able to put out a good energy field towards all life, even the tyrants that run this planet, because they need it. If you throw out anger and revenge, you're trapping yourself to their control. Simple as that. Don't do it, or stop doing it. You are comfortably floating as a spherical form of energy, the real you, above the earth. You can see it just as if you were on the space shuttle looking out a window with a camera, except you're floating out in space doing it. Now, you're going to see that Tyrellian is going to talk to all of you. He's going to send a telepathic communication, and he's going to ask you to watch the earth and the moon as you know it. And you're going to see a ripple effect across space move across the planet. And as it passes, you're going to see a different planet Earth and a different moon right in the same place. The Earth you're seeing now has no polar ice caps. It is covered with oceans. And if this is the Earth, it has a large continent over the equator from one hemisphere to the other, extends above and below the equator. It's got a green emerald beach on the bottom side of it, about a third of the way down from the equator. And you can look right through the planet. On the backside, you can see another continent there, 2/3 its size. Now you're going to see something Turelian's creating, so you know what this place is. It's going to say Lemuria right on the land in golden letters. They're going to come forward off the planet and swing by you and dissolve into space. You're going to see the moon over here, which is barren, doesn't turn on its axis in the planet we're used to, except this one is green like the Earth with water and little polar ice caps, and it's turning on its axis, and there's clear dome cities on it. What you're seeing is the planet Earth and the moon in a slightly higher parallel dimension of the physical universe that actually exists. It's a prototype. It's been protected for ages. It is what the planet Earth and our moon will become when we're ready. This is a place where beings from other worlds and master teachers from other worlds have dome cities. It's protected. There's never been any form of negativity here. It is on Earth in a higher frequency. They are called parallel dimensions. The universe is vast. There are 144 parallel dimensions of universes stacked on top of each other in just the physical universe alone, before you even get to what people call the astral plane, the plane of emotion, the next heaven or division up from here. And it's got wars and money and negativity too. They all do, to a lesser degree, up to the etheric plane. And there's a void, a barrier between the two. And then there's the first realm of the upper worlds. There's a pure positive energy there. There's no positive and negative. When you create something, it doesn't create an effect. There's no karma, no maya, no illusion. And what's created there is done for the good of all life, and it's permanent, and you're responsible for it. When things change there, things can change down here, but not before. So what people call the source or prime creator has to change in consciousness itself in order for the lower dimensions to change, to retire the experiment of evil, which has failed. It never did what it was designed to do. It was very effective in trapping Atmos in the illusion that they're physical bodies. It was very successful at that, but that wasn't what it was originally designed to accomplish. Okay. You are in orbit, floating in space as an energy being. You are not made of matter. You're not made of electrons or protons or atoms. You are made of an energy that supports and sustains those things. You're going to see a vortex open up and start spinning clockwise. Turelian and I are opening this. This is easy. It's like a cyclone with a vacuum tube in the middle of a blue-green energy. Little blue stars just swirling in an open. It's wider than all of us, and we're being moved up into it and traveling upward at tremendous speed, far beyond the speed of light. And you can see through this moving vortex of energy, looks like water. You can see levels of universe passing below you. And up ahead, way up high, you can see a blue atmosphere. And you're going to suddenly find yourself thrust out of it, high in a blue atmosphere, looking down on this opening of this vortex that now dwindles and vanishes below you. You are now in the atmosphere of a very special dimension. It is a dimension beyond the Atma, or the first of the higher worlds, beyond the void. And here, beings experiment with running different body forms, whether they're animals or cows or elephants or whatever it is. And those animal forms have vocal cords, and beings run them knowing they're not these bodies, to know what it's like to respect all life. Here's where they get the experience. There is a being named Satnam that runs this world. He's not a tyrant. He does have charge over the tyrants that run the lower dimensions, and they are tyrants. Recently, within a few years ago, this being, Satnam, and many others that run the mechanics of the universe began to change. And they're beginning to change things in the lower worlds, largely because of beings like us that have come back to this source from billions of lives and delivered new insights and ways of doing things. This is what we do. This is the destiny and purpose of each human being, to be a co-creator, trusted, and capable with the source itself. It does not have all the answers like people think. It isn't all-knowing with all potential. It waits for us to return, to share our experiences, to download it into that center, to help it see new ways of doing things. That's why we exist. We are meant to be co-creators with that, not worshipers of it. Only tyrants demand worship. Demand you put them on a pedestal. So they want to use your energy for selfish interests. They don't care about you. Look at the history of this planet and its religions, and you'll see the condition of the world today. They have done nothing to change anything. And that is deliberate. You've got to get yourself off-world, out of the Earth consciousness, and start thinking and imagining like an interdimensional galactic citizen. You are in a blue atmosphere in a plane so rarefied, it is beyond what the world teaches on Earth about what exists out there, quite beyond it. Float in this blue atmosphere. When you look down, you'll see a massive landmass, a continent that's completely round. It has a white beach all the way around it, huge palm trees out near the coast, violet and blue and green grass fields that go up towards a cluster of mountains in the highest point of the land, 6 of them, snow-covered in a hexagon, around a small island surrounded by a lake in the center of it. It's huge, way up here, and it comes out to the coast. You can see a blue glass tower about a third of the way towards the western coast that comes up hundreds and hundreds of feet. And there's a semi-spherical administration center, and then it comes up to a point. It is transparent. It is blue. And we're going to go into the administration area of this place, which is on a level above the Atma or soul plane, above the void. It's up between the 5th and 6th dimensions, up past the void, beyond the astral, causal, mental, etheric, physical, past the void into the upper worlds. And yes, you are capable of being there, hovering in this blue atmosphere as the Atma. That's a piece of cake. There is nothing of a negative nature that can be brought into this world whatsoever. Which means if you're seeing this, nothing negative is with you. That's back on Earth with your body. It's just fine. We're going to go down. You're going to see Turelian move as a spherical being. We're revolving around him, and we're going to go inside that administration tower, right through the clear glass sides, and hover inside it. And inside this sphere, you can see the countryside around you. And down at the bottom of this sphere, this tower, are white roadways, like white marble, going out in every direction like the spokes from a bicycle tire. They go all the way out to the coast. There are training facilities all over this on little left and right turns down, all these roadways in these jungle and forest settings. This whole landmass is floating in a blue atmosphere. There is no sun, no planets, no stars. This is above all that. You're going to be inside this tower, a big sphere thing, half sphere, kind of semi-spherical, and it goes up to a point, and inside there is a circle of white marble seats. And in the center of it, it's like a size of a football stadium in there. And in the center of it is a fountain made of white alabaster stone, sitting on a blue lapis lazuli pedestal. That's a blue stone with gold running through it, polished. That's what it looks like. And in the center of this fountain is a shaft of white light with gold tinge filling this bowl, coming down and pouring in an even sheet over its edges. And it disappears down through the floor. This is a form of the hue, the first original word or sound, as it manifests in this plane, above and beyond the void known to most Buddhist monks. It is there. And you are capable of experiencing it. Go and move the sphere that you are right into the center of that shaft of light. Move right inside it and let it run through your being. This is part of how you recover who you are. Torellian has moved in first. I'm inside it. There's plenty of room. Everyone just bathe in it. Let it flow through your being. This is a form of higher energy from planes yet further upward. And it comes through this generator, this fountain, in order to be generated down to a slower vibration to manifest the worlds below the void, to hold them in place. There are beings called silent mentors or silent ones, which are unknown to people on Earth and most world systems. They have not been interested in the evolution of individual souls or beings. Their job is to run the mechanics of creation. Galaxies spinning on axis, planets and moons revolving around each other, doorways between dimensions, multiple levels of it. This is what they do. They work in this Hue Expansion Ray Academy with many master teachers from all over creation to help students recover their co-creative nature as beings. This place was brought into creation about 7 Earth years ago and did not exist here in the higher worlds before that. Something has changed. Something significant has changed in the design of the universe that is non-destructive, that is designed to neutralize negative imagination and subconscious drives that are destructive in beings. You are floating in an energy field that's designed to do this. There are many places we could visit tonight out in those roadways, out in this Hue Expansion Ray Academy. We don't have time for that. We'd be here all for weeks. And your body would suffer. So we have to go to this plane where time and space are not involved. And they are not. Your purpose for being here is to bring back awareness of this blue atmosphere, this blue tower, the white roadways, the mountains, back down to your body in the trance state on Earth. This is far superior than just leaving your body at night and finding yourself on a city street on some planet not knowing what's going on. This is you bringing back the ability to be in the high worlds and bringing it back to Earth and remembering it. See your body back on Earth from here. You can hear the sound. You can feel it. You're going to see that vortex open up right in the mountain peaks. You're going to get sucked into it, and you're going to be flying down this shaft of light until you find yourself hovering around Torellian and myself and these man and women couples in space above the planet Earth you're used to seeing. It's direct projection. Then you see yourself hovering in the atmosphere as this sphere of light above your physical body. And then you see yourself hovering above your physical body, about 4 feet above it. Look down on it. Look inside the brain. There's a little gland. And see this white golden light come into it, through it, down your nervous system, and out through the pores of your body. Out into the world, through you, for the benefit of all life. Not just your own, all life. Then when you're ready, open your eyes. Remember this. Hi, Perry.
It was great, Scott.
It's important that your audience get above the void as often as possible. You can't recover who you are without doing that. You could sit as a Buddhist monk and go into the high worlds and go up to the void all day long and not recover who you are. You got to get above it because there is a lot going on above that. We all came originally from that source. Part of us, as a multidimensional being, is still there. That's the one we want to bring here consciously, right? That's clear. We want to bring that part of ourselves back to earth and wake it up. That's what we're doing. So I want to wish your listeners well. This will be recorded and sent to Perry. She can put it on her YouTube channel and you can play it back at your own rate of speed. There are others we've done. It would be greatly beneficial for each of you to listen to them, to go on the journey again. Select a time when you won't be disturbed, maybe in the morning when you're fresh and alert. And try to find a time of day where you're most awake, and then go into a contemplation or meditation, listening to one of these recordings, but also participating in it, doing what I'm asking you to do, seeing what I'm asking you, exercise your higher ability to see and know, and go on the journey again. It will be very beneficial. So if you have any other questions, Perry.
No, but today is the first time that we went to the Heal Academy with many people.
For the public, yes, that's something is changing. We're going to be doing more of that. We're also going to visit some other worlds and see what they're like.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do more of that. But the primary thing is to get above the void, because there, everyone involved can start to create, transforming this world as a contributor to the source itself. This is our right and responsibility as beings. People on earth just don't know it yet, but they're destined to know it for once. All right, then I will stop this recording and wish everybody pleasant dreams. So we have an end to it, and you and I can chat, Perry.
Okay, thank
Pleasant
you.
dreams to everyone. Go on the journey again when you can.